Good morning to one and all. Presented in online and in classrooms. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about another topic, classification of contract based on the formation wise. Okay. So there are number of contract is established in India every day. So all the contract put together and it will be classified into three ways based on formation of the contract. Formation of the contract. So under this classification wise, first we have to classify the contract express contract. So express contract is a separate and also special. A promise made in word is called an express contract. That is mean it in this contract is created based on the written format. So the offerer and acceptor write the content of the contract in a paper or letter. So they exchange the objectives between the offerer and acceptor only in the form of written format. So that contract is called as express contract. For example, A wrote a letter to B. I am prepared, I am interested to sell my car for rupees 1 crore, Mr. B. So the B also accept the same thing and give the return consent in the letter. So that contract treated as a express contract. Okay, this one is letter. Second one, implied contract. Implied contract. Most probably, it is not treated as a valid contract. A contract which is not made in word is known as implied contract. Implied contract. But it is also treated as a one type of contract, but it is in front of the law, it could not be valid one. It could not be treated as a valid contract. So the contract which is not made in word is known as implied. But mostly oral contract, oral access contract is only treated as a implied contract. For example, X went to the restaurant and took a cup of coffee or tea. So here is an implied contract, that is restaurant owner provide the coffee based on the assumption of after having a copy they will be paying the money. So this will be treated as a implied contract. Okay, and next one, quasi contract. The quasi contract is another important contract, but both offerer and acceptor would not voluntarily involve and enter into contract, but the legal will be forced to both to enter into it. So it is a contract which is there is no intention on either side to make a contract, but the law imposes the person to enter into contract that is treated. So that is called quasi contract. For example, the finder of lost goods or finder of goods from land is treated as a quasi contract. Normally, if the goods is found out from the land or in the roadside or any other side, so the owner, the finder can submit it to the owner of the goods. This contract is called as quasi contract. The next one, so these three contracts are treated and comes under the category of classification of the contract according to the formation. So according to formation wise, three types. One is expressed, second one is implied contract, third one is quasi contract. So the three are important contract established nowadays in the business field. So whatever type of contract you are entered, so you will get the benefit. Normally, the quasi contract, implied contract is indirectly to enter by the offerer and acceptor, but express contract both are known manner to enter and creating a contract. So it is valid. It is it will goes to the court for regarding any issues. The court will be accepted and solve the issues based on the contract law wise. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.